Hey, what is up, guys? I am here to give you, as you guys voted for, my review of Backlash 2007. You guys voted for it, you guys are getting it. And I did make another voting poll just a couple seconds ago. And at the end, I will tell you what you guys should vote for what DVD would you like to see me review next. And usually when I do DVD reviews, I like to show you what the DVD is. I think someone that used to be my friend gave me this DVD, and I just watched it. I watched it before, but I wasn't like a huge wrestling fan before. Now I watch it, and it's awesome. So I'm going to show you the cover. This is what it looks like. As you can see, there's Undertaker holding the World Heavyweight Championship, Batista. There's John Cena with the WWE Championship around his waist, the old spinner WWE Championship. Randy Orton, Shawn Michaels, and Edge. And there's Umaga, the McMahons, which is Vincent Kennedy McMahon and Shane McMahon. And that's awesome that they made the cover. So then the side's just this little thing that you open, and then this side just shows Backlash, what the name of the DVD is, in little small print. If you can see that, it says 2007. Now on the back, it shows all the matches that happened. The Fatal 4-Way match for the WWE Championship, John Cena, Shawn Michaels, Randy Orton, and Edge. The Hardys, which is Jeff Hardy and Matt Hardy, and also Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch, their match they had. Undertaker and Batista's match. MVP and Chris Benoit's match. MVP being Vontavious Porter. The ECW Championship match between Bobby Lashley and versus the McMahons and Umaga. And the Women's Championship match they had between Mickie James and Melina. Now I'm going to show you the inside. I don't have the paper in here. I don't know. I forget what I did with it, but this is what the CD looks like. It just says Backlash 2007. Alright. So let's get on with the review now. Good DVD, I thought. I really liked watching this. I was just I actually 2 days before regularly started watching wrestling. That's like the first show I watched. I watched it before, but I didn't watch it. Then I didn't keep to it every week because I didn't know what channel it was on. I didn't really know what it was. My cousin said, "Hey, let's just watch the show." And then yeah, I started watching it, and I said to Mom, "I want to start watching this wrestling show," and I did. And it was awesome. So let's get on with the review. WWE Backlash 2007. Now the commentary is going to be a little weird. Normally there's only 3 guys on commentary, but since it was a brand, because this was a brand show, this is back when they had separate brands. They had Raw, they had SmackDown, and they had ECW. And anytime there was a Raw, SmackDown, or ECW match, they had their own commentators for it. The Raw commentators ended up being Jerry the King Lawler and Jim Ross. The SmackDown commentators ended up being JBL and Michael Cole. They are still pairing up. They still do SmackDown together. And the ECW commentators ended up being Taz and Joey Styles. Taz, we know right now, is in TNA, and we don't know what Joey Styles is. Jim Ross is retired. Jerry the King Lawler he does the commentary, as I say, every week with JBL and Michael Cole. So yeah, that's about it. Yeah. It shows the Backlash video package, how they built up every match, the ECW Championship match, which I will get to, the WWE Championship match, and the World Heavyweight Championship match, because back then they were split. And then we get the first match on the show. We have the Hardys defending the World Tag Team Championships against Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch. Back then there were 2 Tag Team Championships, I should mention. We had the World Tag Team Championships that were on Raw, and we had the WWE Tag Team Championships that were on SmackDown, that were held, I don't know if this is when Deuce and Domino got the championships, or if this is when Paul London and Brian Kendrick still had them. I think Deuce and Domino had just gotten the championships. this was a good tag team match. I really like this tag team match. I love the Hardys. I like watching them work together. They really work well together as a team, obviously, but brothers, but they feel like a legit tag team, just like Cody Rhodes and Goldust, since they're brothers. Undertaker and Cade, they did feel like a legit tag team. And I really liked some of the moves that they did. They did a leg drop punch move. Jeff Hardy did a leg drop to the groin, and Matt Hardy did the punch. Speaking of which, now the weird thing is both Hardys aren't even in the WWE anymore. Jeff Hardy is Willow in TNA now. I still think that's kind of stupid that they had him do this gimmick. I think he should go back to the WWE. He'll be a main event star again. Matt Hardy, I don't know where he is, to be honest with you. I heard he's in ROH with Nirvana right now, but I'm not exactly sure where Matt Hardy is. Lance Cade is unfortunately dead. I remember he got a heart attack. I think it was after he left the WWE, but I'm not exactly sure when. And Trevor Murdoch, I think he got released right after they split up, Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch. So yeah, but I really like the Hardys as a tag team. Another tag team move I really like them do is when they do like this thing called the Poetry of Motion, and that's when Matt gets on his hands and knees, and Jeff Hardy uses him as like a jumping board, and he dives outside. Well, he usually does it in the corner, but he did it outside the ring. That was awesome stuff. Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch ended up taking control, and I just liked them as a tag team. They really felt like a good tag team. They weren't the best tag team, but they were a really good tag team. And they dominated Matt Hardy a bit, but then eventually Jeff Hardy would try to make the hard tag, but then he went to do a drop kick like through the ropes, and Lance Cade saw him, and he ended up grabbing Hardy's leg and whipping him on the floor, and Hardy hit his head. Jeff Hardy, I should say, because there's two Hardys, and they dominated him for a while. They did like Lance Cade ended up doing a one-handed spine buster move, his like finisher that he does, but I think Matt Hardy broke it up, and they really worked well as a tag team, Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch. I don't know why they broke them up. I really kind of liked them as a tag team. They were a legit tag team, and I really liked them as a tag team. They did this part when they both did splashes to each other. They dominated Jeff Hardy for a while, and then eventually, and they would prevent Matt Hardy from getting in the match. Eventually, Matt Hardy gets the hot tag, and he starts going off on Lance Cade and Trevor Murdoch, and he ends up hitting the side effect on Trevor Murdoch, but I think then another cool thing was Lance Cade got off the top rope and took out Matt Hardy, and then cheap shots Jeff Hardy, and then Matt Hardy ended up hitting the twist of fate, and Lance Cade pulled him out of the ring, and he started fighting with Matt Hardy, and the referee was distracted by this, so Jeff Hardy took advantage and hit the Swanton Bomb on Murdoch, and Hardy ran in the ring and got the victory, and they retained the World Tag Team Championships. This actually was the last. I don't know if they had another tag team title on like the Independents before Jeff Hardy went to TNA. This was the last tag team run together, so I really like this match. It was a really good tag team match, good tag team wrestling. I did get to see a bit of their TNA run together. What I really wish they had done was they had a tag team title run in TNA. I think that would have been good, but they didn't. TNA didn't capitalize on it. I don't know why they didn't capitalize on it, but they didn't. I would have done because I remember Beer Money, Bobby Roode, and James Storm were a tag team in TNA, and I would have probably done Beer Money versus the Hardys. That's what they should have done. I remember Matt Hardy was teasing a Hardy return, and then we got this Chris Harris guy. I guess that was in Beer Money, but why didn't they have Jeff Hardy? Why? Honestly, I think they should have had a match with Beer Money and the Hardys get the tag team championships from Beer Money, but they didn't do it. That was dumb. I did not like Matt Hardy's TNA run at all. It was stupid. And then Umaga's backstage, he's getting pumped up for the ECW Championship match. So he has him leave, and he wants him to be have more momentum. And then Vince McMahon comes up, and he tells Shane that he wants him to win the ECW Championship. You guys could have a good extreme moment. He thinks he would be a good ECW champion. But then Shane says he wants Vince to win the title because of what Bobby Lashley did to him when he shaved his head at WrestleMania 23 and humiliated him. I think you should take the title from him tonight. And Vince agrees. So we don't really... And it looked like that they didn't want to say that because they were all pissed about it. So, yeah. And then we got Melina defending the Women's Championship against Mickie James. This wasn't a bad match. It was pretty good. I think it flowed really well. Melina ended up doing like a Rough Rider move off the top rope. That was cool. And then eventually Melina kicked Mickie James into a split, and then somehow she was able to do the same thing to Melina. I don't remember how she did it. I was a little tired yesterday, so I was kind of falling asleep, and they both ended up getting each other to the splits, and that was awesome. Melina and Mickie James started getting a fire going. She hit the crossbody off the top rope, and Melina ended up kicking out of it. And then Melina ends up thumbing Mickie James in the eyes and hits the it was like that scream and then that leg drop move. I don't remember what it was called because I don't really remember, but she hit that move. If you know what that move is, comment down below in the Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff, and ends up retaining the Women's Championship. And it wasn't a bad match. It was pretty good. I should mention, I also met Matt Hardy live. If you've seen the Facebook picture, I've met Mickie James live. I'm actually going to post some wrestling pictures on my own Pinch Facebook account today. I met Mickie James live. That's my profile picture on the Owen Pinch. And I ended up going with my buddy Steve. And that's actually he doesn't want to be shown on YouTube. But it's like if you know what I'm talking about, you can like make somebody's picture, and you can make it like their picture. And when they call you, that's the picture you would see. So that's what that is. And they're really nice people. I really like them. I like Matt Hardy. The funny thing, I guess I should say, is every time that I would see Matt, a wrestler, they always ask how to spell my name. O-W-E-N? And I'm like, yep. Now, I think it's kind of strange that they don't know how to spell my name. Because Owen Hart was in the WWE, WWF, whatever you want to call it. And they don't know how to spell my name. And like, it's like Owen, I should just say Owen, like Owen Hart. But it would be rude, so yeah. And Matt Hardy was the only one that knew how to spell my name. And I said that, and he probably didn't care when I said it, but, you know, it was like, oh, okay, yeah. But it was really a big deal to me. It's like O-W-E-N. I just don't get how the wrestlers don't know how to spell my name. It's like Owen Hart. If I ever meet Bret Hart and he does not know how to spell my name, it's like, it's your brother. So I don't really get how wrestlers don't know how to spell my name. If I meet Triple H and he doesn't, that's going to be weird. If I meet Vince and he doesn't, that's going to be weird. So, yeah, I really think it's weird that they don't know how to spell my name. Anyhow, that was a little weird. But the next match, or what was it, a segment, a backstage segment, Maria ended up interviewing Edge. Now, Maria, I also got a chance to meet live. I didn't get an autograph because I didn't have any money. I don't have a Mickie James autograph either because I only had enough money for the picture. It's either the picture or the autograph, and I chose the picture. And, man, she was hot when I saw her too. She asked Edge about his his strategy, I think, going into the Fatal 4-Way match, and he says that I think he said like he's looking forward to this match. He got to see Shawn Michaels and John Cena tear each other up for an hour on Raw, and he got a nice easy Raw because I guess because he was supposed to face Randy Orton, but Shawn Michaels and John Cena use all the television time, and he says that he's looking forward to being the next WWE champion, holding it over his head. and somebody had told Maria to ask him this question, how Edge won his first WWE Championship, and Edge is like, well, how do you not know that? It was the most brilliant move ever. He casted his Money in the Bank off of bloody John Cena after he got through an Elimination Chamber match and won the title. And he's like, who the hell asked you to ask you that? And she goes, he did. And it ends up being Mr. Kennedy, also known as Mr. Anderson on TNA. This was when he was the Money in the Bank contract holder. He ends up saying he wishes Edge luck tonight, and he really hopes he wins, because you're going to have an exhausting, brutal, you're going to be exhausted and brutalized after your match. And he ends up holding up the briefcase like he's going to cash it in on tonight on Edge if he wins. And this was a little foreshadowing. I'm going to mention this in a later video, because I have a later video of when I make that. Yeah, this was good stuff. The next match, I think we got the Condemned. This was when Stone Cold Steve Austin's movie, The Condemned, was coming out, so they showed how they did all the fight scenes and stuff. And we got that. I think I might have added that a little later, but yeah, they showed like all the backstage stuff and stuff. It was good. Next match. It ended up being Chris Benoit defending the United States Championship against MVP. The thing that was special about Chris Benoit's United States Championship one was that he really knew how to hold matches with that championship. He defended the championship. A thing that was also special about it is it was his last title one in the WWE ever, actually, not just in the WWE, ever in wrestling. Because they ended up losing it later on, and then he never held a title again. He was supposed to face CM Punk for the ECW Championship, but then he died that day. And they had to do a replacement, so it's kind of sad. This match was really well done, I thought. I really liked this match. Chris Benoit and MVP just look awesome matches together. MVP ended up doing a lot of kicks to Chris Benoit in this match. He booted him in the back of the head, and Chris Benoit kicked out of it. He ended up doing like a this is later on in the match, a half Boston Crab, and Chris Benoit got to the ropes. And they had a match at WrestleMania 23, so MVP scouted Chris Benoit. When he did his triple German suplexes and went to go off the top rope for the diving headbutt, MVP stopped him. MVP ended up doing like a version of like a German suplex throw, and Chris Benoit kicked out of it. He ended up doing like his own throw, like the throw that he does before he does the ball and elbow, and he kicked Chris Benoit kicked out of that. He went to do the dive. Chris Benoit went to do the dive and headbutt, and MVP got the knees up, and then he did the half Boston Crab. And then afterwards, MVP went to do it again. Actually, Chris Benoit got the crossface in several times, but MVP was near the ropes. MVP went to do the half Boston Crab, and Chris Benoit rolled him up, got the victory, and retained his United States Championship. Really good match. Every Chris Benoit match you see is just awesome. I don't really recall a bad match I've seen from Chris Benoit, but I haven't seen a lot of his matches. But I've seen his matches. I've seen his match with Booker T for the U.S. title at No Way Out 2002. I saw his match with Edge. That was like the last, I think, SmackDown match he had, and that was really well done. I saw the match that he had against. He had a lot of good matches. I know a lot of his good matches. I think I've seen at Tribute to the Troops. He had a match with Eddie Guerrero. That was really well done. So I really like Chris Benoit's wrestling. He's like kind of like Daniel. Daniel Bryan's like him. Any match you see is just gold. So yeah, I really liked Chris Benoit's match. The next match we got, I think it was a match or a segment. John Cena interview. This was funny. Todd Grisham ended up interviewing him. I hear he's in ESPN now. This was funny shit. Before John Cena can ask him the question, Randy Orton comes up and he says that we should work together. I mean, guys like Shawn Michaels and Edge, they get treated like royalty. We get treated like dirt. We have a lot of things in common. We're both young. We're both extremely handsome. And I think tonight we should get together and take out Shawn Michaels and Edge. And then we leave. And then we settle it in the ring. We'll see who's the better man. And then John Cena's like, you have a point. And he's like, yeah. And then he goes, you think I'm handsome? And then everyone's like, whoa, I was just saying that and stuff. And then John Cena's like, you said you want to get together? And then Randy Orton says, I meant in the ring, man, I meant in the ring. And then John Cena says, and you said you wanted to, and then he says, like, he made a sex reference. I don't remember exactly what he said. It was like, you said you said you'd be standing, but you can take it if you're not standing. It was like a sex reference. And then he mentions the pose that he usually does and how he has this gay look in his eyes. It was really funny stuff. And then John Cena's like, that's just not my thing. And Benoit says, yeah, we'll see who's laughing after that. Cena, when you're standing on, when I beat you 1, 2, 3, and I'm standing on top as WWE champion. Because this was back when they had to spin a championship. And then Ron Simmons comes up, Farouk, whatever you want to call him, and says, damn! I always liked it when he said damn, because when he came up, you knew he was going to say that. But that was really, really good stuff. That was funny stuff by Cena. He used to be really funny back then. The gay references. I never learned to read when he was talking to Bobby Lashley when they were building up the WWE Championship match. So they did really good stuff together. Yep, so really good stuff. It was really funny. And then we got the next match. It was Bobby Lashley defending the ECW Championship against the McMahons and Umaga in a 3-on-1 handicap match. So whoever had pinned Bobby Lashley would be the new ECW champion. The match was built up after Bobby Lashley had shaved Vince McMahon's head. Shane McMahon wanted to embarrass him, so they had a match, I think it was on Raw, for the ECW Championship. And then Shane McMahon got himself disqualified, and Umaga and Vince McMahon ended up coming up, and they all beat the shit out of Lashley, hit the Samoan spike, hit him with the title, all that shit. And then, because the night after, Bobby Lashley had exposed Vince McMahon's baldness, he tried to wear a cap. And then afterwards, he made the 3-on-1 handicap match. Bobby Lashley ended up screwing Umaga. This was Santino Marella's first ever match, and he ended up screwing him out of the Intercontinental Championship. So Santino Marella ended up becoming the new Intercontinental Champion. And then Lashley, that sick dive he did when he broke the cage onto Umaga, that was cool. And they ended up taking out Lashley's manager, Armando Estrada. So I think that was the last one they had together. So that was really how the match was built up. The match was, I thought, decent. Bobby Lashley, it was mainly Lashley versus Umaga and Shane McMahon throughout the match. Vince McMahon did like one kick. A cool thing a cool spot in the match I liked was when Lashley threw Shane and Umaga went to do a headbutt to Lashley, and Umaga went to do something to Lashley, and he dropped toe-hold Umaga right onto Shane McMahon and he kind of like headbutted him in the chest. That was cool stuff because Umaga had like a steel headbutt. And then Umaga and Shane are dominating Lashley. They throw him into the steps. Shane McMahon does like an armbar move. Umaga does the headbutts, the Samoan drop, and then when Shane McMahon had the armbar in, Lashley counted to like a power bomb, and good stuff. Umaga, by the way, rest in peace. He's dead too. It's hard to believe. That was so yeah. And then Lashley starts to make a little bit of a comeback. He ends up spearing Umaga, does the running power slam, but they called it the Dominator, but I don't think it wasn't really the Dominator, but he does a running power slam to Shane McMahon, and Lashley's about to win the match, but Vince McMahon breaks it up, and then he goes to get his hands on Vince McMahon, and then Umaga hits the spike on him, And then behind the referee's back, Shane McMahon grabs the ECW championships and hits Lashley off the skull with it. And this was like the old ECW title. And then Vince McMahon wants to get tagged in, and at first it's like the little dissension to Shane. Says I want to get this win. I want to win this match. But then he ends up tagging him in, and then Vince tries to cover him to win the match, but Lashley kicks out of it. And then Lashley tries to roll him up and win the title, but Shane breaks it up. And then Umaga hits a splat off the top rope to Umaga. And the first time Lashley kicks out, but then when Vince McMahon covers him, but then the second time Umaga hits a splash, and then Vince covers him and gets the win, and is the new ECW champion. That's crazy. It was kind of strange seeing him the ECW champion. Because remember, ECW used to be its own brand. It used to be, well, its own company. It was really weird to see Vince McMahon hold the title, because that was a company that he feuded with, then all that stuff. And then it went bankrupt. Vince bought it. I think Vince bought it or something. And then Vince won the title. And backstage, while we all celebrated, and the McMahons, Vince and Shane, come up to like the original ECW guys, the guys that will be in the original ECW, which is Rob Van Dam, RVD, whatever you want to call him, the Sandman, Tommy Dreamer, and he had a kendo stick in hand, and Sabu, and he just makes like a funny references, like when he went Vincent Kennedy McMahon, like RVD's pose. He took Sandman's beer, he drank it, and went to, and Shane's like, don't smash it off your head. And then I think he made a Sabu reference, like I guess he's the new extreme of ECW. And then he ended up taking Shane's like, this is the new like he calls them the evidence of violence or something. And that was really funny shit. Very funny by Vince McMahon. And then, so yeah, it was really weird to see him in the ECW champion. It was kind of a joke, but it was really funny. I think the next, I don't remember what the next match was, or the next thing that happened. And then we got the Undertaker defending the World Heavyweight Championship against Batista in the Last Man Standing match. This match was built up after Undertaker had beaten Batista at WrestleMania 23 and became the new World Heavyweight Champion and extended his streak to 15-0, but now he's 21-1 because Brock Lesnar conquered the streak. And then Batista comes out the next night on SmackDown and says, congratulations, I want my rematch or something. And then Teddy Long, who was the general manager of SmackDown at the time, said this won't be makes it a last man standing match, and Batista and Undertaker kind of go back and forth, and says, I'm taking back what belongs to, and Batista says, I remember seeing this, it was like one of the first SmackDown remarks, says, I'm taking back what belongs to me, the world title. And then Undertaker said, I plan on taking something that belongs to you, your soul. So that was decent stuff. I think the flaw in the feud was I kind of wish they had Batista as a heel in the feud, because when there was two faces it was kind of awkward, I thought. I kind of thought this even then, but I thought Batista should have been a heel. They did do it later on in 2009 when Batista turned heel, but it was kind of, the match they had was shit. I really wish they had had a Batista worked as a heel in the feud. Because they booed him anyways, and I really wish they had done that. But then we get the match, and Batista right hamstring's all taped up because of some, I guess some shillelagh assaults by Finley, and then Undertaker had his muscle, I forget what it's called, taped up. They didn't really say how that got taped up, but it was taped up. They had a good last man standing match. Undertaker, well, it wasn't the best, but it was decent. Undertaker ends up hitting a boot right away on Batista. He does all his moves. He does the flying clothesline, He didn't do the old school, which I kind of wish he had done, but that's not that bad. And then Batista does one power slam move. And then Batista and Undertaker fight on the outside. Undertaker does the leg drop move that he does off the apron leg drop move to Batista. Batista gets up from that. He goes to throw Batista into the steps, but Undertaker lands the knees first into the steps, and then Batista tries to go off the top rope. It was a fail. Undertaker superplexes him off the top rope, but Batista gets up from that, and then he ends up taking Batista to the outside. He hits him off the skull with the steel steps. Batista gets up from that, but he's all busted open. Undertaker starts working on the open wound. And then another sick spot was when earlier in the match, Undertaker had set up the SmackDown announce table, and this was a SmackDown match. And he goes off the barricade where the Raw announce table is, and he ends up doing a leg drop through the announce table. And Batista gets up from that. And then Batista starts making a huge comeback with clotheslines. I think he does like 4 spine busters to the Undertaker, and he gets up from all of them. And then he goes for the Batista bomb, but Undertaker counters. Undertaker starts punching Batista while he's on the top rope, and then he ends up doing a Batista bomb from the corner, and Undertaker gets up from that. Batista grabs a chair, hits Undertaker off the skull. And then Undertaker gets up from that. Undertaker tombstones Batista. Well, Undertaker had chokeslammed him earlier, and then Batista gets up from that. Undertaker tombstones Batista on the chair. Batista gets up from that, and then they brawl up the entrance ramp. They brawl on the stage. Undertaker works on the hamstring of Batista, and then Undertaker goes to tombstone Batista, but Batista gets out of it and spears Undertaker off the stage. And like a bunch of crap falls on of them, and then the referee counts. He still has to count, and they both don't get up, and the EMTs have to come out to get him out of there. And one complaint is that they ended up just getting up right away. They didn't really sell like they just got like taken off a frickin' speared off the stage, off the huge crap. They just got up right away. I think you should have waited a little bit longer, like maybe have them taken out, get on a stretcher, and then have them get up. But they didn't do that. I wish they had. I mean, getting up right away made no fucking sense at all. But it was a tie. It ends up leading to a cage match on SmackDown, and I'm going to review that SmackDown. I watched it not that long ago, and eventually, when I get an opportunity, you're going to get a video about it. The next match, and then you got the next match. It was John Cena defending the WWE Championship against Edge, Shawn Michaels, and Randy Orton. They did a poll, I guess, because there was no well, there probably was a Facebook, but they weren't big on Facebook. You could like text when you had the old flip phones, and you could text who you wanted to win this match. And I actually have this poll on Facebook right now. I'm gonna pull up. I ended up posting it all by Facebook, by Twitter, and by Instagram, and my Snapchat. So it says, who will win the Fatal 4-Way WWE Championship match? It was a poll, and Edge got 6% votes, Shawn Michaels got 34% votes, and Randy Orton got 10% votes, and John Cena got 50% votes. Now the reaction that Cena got out there when he was out there, I obviously was rigged, because I think Shawn Michaels got more of a reaction. I don't really think 50% predicted Shawn Michaels winning this match. No, not Shawn. Well, John Cena. I think more people wanted Shawn Michaels. I kind of hate when they rig the votes. I just hate it. But the match was good. The build-up ended up being that John Cena beat Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania, so I guess he wanted a title shot. I think I don't remember how Orton and Edge got in the match though, but that's how like that part of the match was. And back then, Randy Orton and Randy Orton and Edge were rated RKO. They had held the World Tag Team Championships together, so they have a history. But then they had broken up just before WrestleMania 23, so Edge ended up being the new guy. and then they went on their own separate paths. The match starts and nobody does anything at first. They all just look at each other. Shawn Michaels and John Cena look at each other, and Shawn Michaels is saying something to John Cena. We don't really hear what it was. And then Randy Orton and Edge come up. I think they try to make an alliance with them. And then John Cena and Shawn Michaels fight off weighted RKO, Edge and Randy Orton outside the ring. And then immediately Shawn Michaels and John Cena just start fighting. He goes off on him. John Cena does his normal bulldog that he does, and Shawn Michaels kicks out of it. And then Edge and Randy Orton come up. They clear the way of John Cena and Shawn Michaels. And then Edge and Randy Orton start fighting. When Edge went on the outside, John Cena ended up... no, it was Randy Orton. John Cena put Randy Orton back, and then they continued fighting. Shawn Michaels pulled Edge on the outside, and ended up fighting with them. No, he pulled Randy Orton on the outside, and they all fight. Edge takes down Cena with a drop kick. No, it was Shawn Michaels with a drop kick, and Edge is in control. He has all the momentum, and he throws Orton into the steps, body slams Cena on the floor, and then he goes to do the same thing to Shawn Michaels, but Shawn Michaels counters into a body slam, and then Shawn Michaels does a moonsault off the turnbuckle, right onto everybody, and he ends up kneeing rated RKO in the eyes, which was sick. And then I think he takes Edge in the ring. They start fighting for a bit, and Randy Orton and Shawn rated RKO ended up, and then John Cena comes up and does his double leg drop that he does off the top rope to Shawn Michaels and Edge, and then Orton clothesline Cena. Cena ends up going into the steel post, so he gets taken out of the match for a bit, and then rated RKO start working together. They put Shawn Michaels in a half Boston Crab, and they had gotten rid of Cena again before that, and they threw him into the ECW announce table. They got Shawn Michaels into a half Boston Crab, and John Cena ended up hitting a double bulldog on him, and he didn't get the victory. And Shawn Michaels and Edge Cena still fight. They never really worked together in the match. And then John Cena went to put away, was doing his 5 moves of doom, and then he went to do the 5-knuckle shuffle, and Orton and Michaels pulled him out of the ring, and they both threw Cena into the post, and Shawn Michaels then throws Orton into the post, and then he goes to do a power driver to Randy Orton on the announce table when Edge grabs a chair and hits Michaels on the back, and then he hits Orton off the skull. He goes to hit Cena off the skull, but Cena hits the STFU in. Randy Orton breaks it up, and then he gets the STFU, because that's what it was called back then, because it wasn't PG yet. And he gets the STFU in on Randy Orton. Shawn Michaels breaks it up. He goes to do it to Michaels, but Michaels rolls him up, but Cena kicks out of it. John Cena gets both Michaels and Cena up for the FU, but Michaels gets out of it. Randy Orton RKO Shawn Michaels, and then Cena just sees that out of the corner of his eye. And when Randy Orton went to win the match, Cena broke up the pinfall. Edge hit the jumping DDT, the educator, the execution, and Cena kicked out of it. And then Edge went to spear Cena, but Cena moved out of the way, and Orton went to RKO him, but he got out of it. And Cena went to give Randy Orton the FU. Orton got out of that, and then Edge speared Randy Orton. John Cena FU'd Edge, and Shawn Michaels ended up giving John Cena the sweet chin music, and he falls on Randy Orton, and Orton's shoulders are down, so Cena accidentally kind of pins Randy Orton, and he retains the title. So that was cool. I did like the end of the match, how John Cena just fell on Randy Orton, and he ended up getting the pinfall. And then afterwards, Shawn Michaels is like, "You won. I won this match. I had this match. You're not better than me. You haven't proven anything yet." So I really thought that was good stuff. And then they walk out. Cena's still the champ, and that was about it. That ended the show, and I really thought this was a good DVD, good pay-per-view to watch. It wasn't the best pay-per-view ever, but the matches were passable. The matches were good. I liked the matches. Every match delivered, I think. It wasn't like one bad match on the show. The match of the night for me, my favorite match on this DVD was the Fatal 4-Way. I would say the Last Man Standing match, but the Fatal 4-Way was a bit better. the Last Man Standing match had some flaws in it. I think every time they did a move to each other, I should mention that they would ask for the referee to count. I think they should have done a little bit more damage after every move, but they kept asking them to count. The worst match, every match was good, but there always has to be a worst match. And I know you're going to be like, well, you're going to trash the Divas division, or the women's division back then, but the women's match was good, I'm not going to lie, but every match, it wasn't as good as the other matches. I think it was good for what it was, though. But the other matches were a little bit better. I did like those. And that's pretty much it for my review of this DVD. Thank you guys for voting on this. I really enjoyed watching this. It was a lot of fun. But now, I have another voting poll you can vote on. And the voting poll is this. Are you like, this is only one DVD, why are you doing a voting poll on it? Well, no. It isn't one DVD. It's actually two. I ended up getting this at the, when I went to meet Mick Foley at, the Night of Extreme Rules in Cape Cod. And, I ended up my dad's girlfriend ended up, getting this DVD for me. I ended up, getting it, and then this is like how they were when they were earlier, before they became big stars. And I actually am going to want to review this DVD. Hi. And yeah, this was a lot of fun. So the one you can review is the Steve Austin one, his early career, or the Cactus Jack one, his early career. So you can vote on that, and that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to click off, so just vote on this poll. I will post it on Facebook. I'll put it in the description box below. And that's pretty much it, guys. Peace out. Subscribe to everything down below.